that verse. Caleb had quoted it at some point. Probably Caleb can read it for us. Romans chapter 12, verses 6 to 8. It talks about the different giftings. Romans 12, verses 6 to 8.
The Bible says, since we have gifts that differ according to the grace given to us, each of us is to use them accordingly. If it's prophecy, prophesy in profession to the faith possessed. If service, in the act of serving, or he who teaches, in the act of teaching, or he who encourages, in the act of encouragement, he who gives with the generosity, he who leads with the diligence, he who shows mercy in caring for others with cheerfulness.
Thank you. We are all gifted differently, as the Word of God has told us. So how come we all want to become doctors? How come we all want to become engineers and lawyers? What are your thoughts?
I'm glad we are talking about this so that at least we can abolish that notion. And I agree with all of us that it is a notion that we imparted all of us, that all of us are working hard to become doctors and engineers and other skills that, careers that are out there. It is not true. Okay, I'll give you two examples of people. For example, I had a friend whom we met in common units when I was in campus. He was doing marketing, but he was a trained engineer. So by that time, I asked him, why are you doing marketing? He told me, I have now enough skills for engineering. So I want to do another course in marketing because now I understand things like spare parts and all those things in my field. So I want to gain skills in marketing so that I can start marketing now, engineering, spare parts. Because when I go to a certain firm and explain to them, I will be in a better position to explain how it works. Why is it better than this other one? So if that guy abolished the notion that engineers are better than marketers, so he wouldn't tap into that. And I will also like to say we are solving, none is better than the other because we are solving different problems. For example, a teacher, he or she solves illiteracy. If you are a doctor, you are solving things to do with diseases. If a doctor alienates himself and says that medicine is better than teaching, for example, being a teacher. First of all, you went through a teacher, before you went you gained your skill. So your problem first was solved. Your illiteracy was solved before you become that doctor. And if a teacher thinks that is better than a doctor, when you are sick, you cannot use your teaching to solve your disease thing. So it is good for all of us to see a point of the problem that we are solving. We are solving different problems. And I don't think that there is another important problem than the other, so to speak. So if we are saying another one is better, so it means we are coding, we are giving status to the problems. Which is not true. I think another thing that informed us and misled us is the money bit of it. It is true that some careers are paying better than the others, but I will still go back to what I said. As long as you have your passion, you can still earn the money that you want. If, for example, a doctor is earning 100,000, I am a teacher. As long as I have that teaching passion, I can be wise enough to come up with a way of earning in my career. I can open a school or a bookshop or something else. I can tutor online. I can do so many things. You see? Some other people are, if for example you want to earn more, you are a teacher, go back to school, maybe earn more skill, start writing, get into career development. You are a teacher, you understand the needs on the ground. Yeah, so I think it is a notion that is misleading, totally. And I think all of us, when choosing careers, don't use money as you will suffer. You will actually have the money, but what you are doing is frustrating you. There is nothing as good as peace of mind. Yeah, I think I will say that. So when choosing your career, there is none that is better than the other. First of all, think of yourself. You are this resource that is going to deal with that. And these careers, I will tell everybody, they are challenging. So you better stick to what your passion is.
Thank you, Caleb. Karen, I keep calling you Beatrice.
Thank you.
In your understanding, is there a career that is better than another one?
I don't think so. I want to base my argument in Swahili and ask a question. Basi, wakati umefanya, assuming mimi ni mtu wa mjengo, you are an accountant ama daktari. Tumepatiwa kila mtu 1,000. Hiyo 1,000 ikikuja itakuja imeandika huyu msee wa mjei. Hiyo pesa itakuja imeandika this is an accountant or a nurse. Haitaandika. What does that mean? Borake hiyo kazi, it is giving you that satisfaction and you have a passion in it. I don't think there is no any job that is better than the other. Besides that, we cannot all be doctors, we cannot all have those white collars jobs. There must be those people who are doing the technical jobs.
Thank you, Karen. Pastor.
I'm not so much on career, but I can give a definition of something, by the way, as the way Karen has said. You see, you can be a doctor, and another person is blessed technically. Is a person who can, maybe he didn't even go to college, but he sees a problem in the field of what can we call it, medicine or doctor or something in hospital, medicine, and invent something. Maybe a class 8, somebody who dropped in class 8, and see a problem in the medicine field, a machine, maybe he has a knowledge, he has a gift, something inbuilt, born inside of him in technical way, and he invent a machine, like people who invented the X-ray machines, you see? And in the process, he invent a machine that gives people problems. And in the process, he wants to solve a problem. But here we have a doctor who has spent 6 years learning, being a doctor. But the one who will invent a machine, he has never been paid such money in his life. Maybe he earns something small by selling some products around in the marketplace or somewhere else. And he gets money to buy the spare parts and builds a machine. He will sell the machine to the hospital for the doctor to use the machine. The doctor is being paid approximately, the best doctor in Kenya, 2 million, something like that, per month. But the one who will sell the machine to Nairobi Hospital, he will sell the machine to Nairobi Hospital at a cost of 500 million. You see? And he is a dropout. You understand? I want to show you the difference. Now, what Karen, she is saying is the money won't come with the name of the diploma or the degree that I had. The money will come in as a solid, a liquid thing. So, the difference here is between a doctor is being paid out of his experience, the 2 million. And the other hand here, we have an entrepreneur, an inventor, somebody who didn't even go to school. By the way, when he was inventing his machine, he even asked help from the ones that are educated to write the manual of the machine, how it's worked. Because maybe he doesn't know how even to speak English. Maybe he speaks in his mother tongue language. And he has someone who is more educated to help him, and he described how this machine works in his own mother tongue, and then the one who is educated is writing down what the person is saying, and then they invented the machine. So we have seen many people in interviews, true stories. They are being interviewed how they worked, they came up with the invention, and some of them, they don't even know how to speak any other language apart from their mother tongue. And you wonder, where did they gain such knowledge? Where did they gain such wisdom? Wisdom is given. And God gives wisdom. But because of this career thing we call career, it has prevented people from receiving. You understand? It has prevented. When God is about to give you a new revelation, a new idea of something you can invent or something you can come up with and solve a problem, you bring your knowledge. You prevent what God wanted to give you. And this took place in Egypt. Moses said, I can't. Microphone has a problem. I can't speak. I can't speak well. You understand? And Moses came up with a solution to save the children of Israel from Egypt. And in this way, we understand that Moses was very educated because he was born in a palace. And that tells you exactly that Moses was educated. And being educated, when he came out from Egypt, the education that he studied there and all this, if we look this scientifically, it was not the same of what he used in the wilderness. He followed the commandments from God. When they reached Jordan, and God said, just stretch the rod and touch the water, and the water departed, and there was a road. So sometimes, biblically, we hinder God from manifesting himself in our lives because of this thing we call career. We hinder ourselves because the Spirit of God is giving you an idea. When you are sleeping, there is something comes into your mind. There is something communicating with you when you are sleeping, but you don't want to take it. But that person who doesn't have any knowledge in his life, because he is struggling, he wants to outsmart somebody who is educated, he comes out with such a great idea, and that idea solves a problem in life. And that is something that young people need to understand, that there is a secret. And if you read, this is an open discussion, this is an open knowledge that is there out there. We have many people, Steve Jobs, we have, right now, by the way, people are talking of Bill Gates, even though right now he has this thought, I am not even understanding his mind currently, but I do know that this guy did not complete his studies. And today is one of the richest people, or even though right now I don't want to give him credit because of the vaccination that he is telling the world, he has turned somehow against God and this, but we have been counting this guy as one of successful people without much education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor, for your thoughts. We want to talk about something slightly, not really different from what we are discussing, but there's something else that has come up as we have discussed. That there are situations where parents force their children to do certain careers. And most of us have shared, Caleb and I think Pastor, that's simply because maybe you got an A. Your parents tell you you qualify to do medicine. Maybe from a personal experience, from our panelists, would you say you were forced into your career? And what would you advise parents regarding the careers of their children? Beatrice.
I am confidently saying that I was not forced. Back in high school, I used to attend clubs, different clubs whereby you could go for counseling, So it just came out that I can do this. So I had to do a research of what can I do in connection to what I'm gifted at, in connection to the skills that I had gained earlier. So I would advise parents, let your children grow. Sometimes if you force them, they end up having stress, no satisfaction. So you are working, but hii ni mzae alinichagulia, so I need to go back to school and study. So let our children be. Like I hear some years back, you couldn't say, I want to become a musician. Nasikianga hiyo story. So we should love our children and let them grow the way they want to. We need to advise them as well, but let them grow. Thank you.
Caleb, were you forced into finance?
I was not forced, though my mom wanted, before I started, my mom wanted me to do clinical medicine, of which I turned down. And here is what I'll advise people from a point of that urge that you really, passion actually. When I was applying for my course, though my main grade was allowing me to, one of the subjects was letting me down. So I was not correctly fitted to do a finance degree because of one subject. So what was advised after inquiring, I told them, now what do I need to do? So I was told to do another course first, a 3-month course before now I can get into this one. So I did that because out of passion, I wanted to do this thing. So I decided, yes, this is what I'll do. And then now, do my finance degree. And yes, it worked for me. So if I didn't have that passion, I think I could have switched to something else. It could have been problematic. And as I said earlier, all these careers have a bitter side of it. There are challenges that come with it. So the only thing that will hold you to it when these challenges come is the passion that you add in. So yes, so I'll say I was not forced, though I was asked if I could do clinical medicine because it looked appealing at that time. Yeah, but I didn't have the passion for it.
Thank you. I think we really appreciate parents who are not forcing their children into certain careers. Because if I remember what Caleb said in the course of this engagement, that all of us are trying to solve a problem. And you cannot say one problem is more important than another one. All are problems that need to be addressed. Karen, were you forced into what you are doing?
No, I was not forced. Just like Caleb has said, my mom wanted me to do a degree in nursing. But you see, when you get your KCSE grades, I do not perform well in biology. So I was like, I can't make it. When I go there, I will fail. So I was confused. I remember what I did. I asked my mom to give me some time to think on what I should do. So I did common units for 2 semesters, and then I was like, there was this cousin of mine who was, she was a alumni of DESTA, and I used to admire her. So I asked her what I should do. So through her advice, I was in a position to understand that I had a passion in conservation and development studies, and that is what I did. Yeah. Again, to add something, I would like to advise those parents that are forcing their children to take a certain career. What these parents need to do let your child be. But you also need to advise them. Advise them on what they should do and how they should go about it. Do not just sit there, but allow them, try to hear them. Because the Bible tells us that we have the spirit of sound mind, and the Holy Spirit is there to guide us. Just guide them and let them be. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor, you want to say something? Okay, thank you very much. I really think the advice that I would also want to give is, as we choose our careers, it is so important that we align our careers or our goals to God's will for our lives. Because, as I said earlier, there is that which God created us to become. There is a problem, there was a problem in the world that God wanted you to solve. So it is so important so that we also don't get frustrated. I have seen people who go into certain careers, they get frustrated, and somewhere along the line they realize that they are doing the wrong thing, then they have wasted like half of their life. Then they have to begin again. So it is so important that we listen to God. We really have to be in tune, as Karen has said, to the Holy Spirit. We need to pray. We need to go by. There is that thing in you. And there is no person who came into this world without something that is deposited in them. So it is good to listen to God. And as you listen to God, there will be something that when you do, you feel there is some feeling of satisfaction. Once you know what it is, then you align your career and your goals towards that. As we draw to the close of our discussion today, we wouldn't want to end our discussion without bringing in the perspective of people who want to go into business. There is a young man somewhere who is watching this program, and they are saying, me, I don't want to go into a career. I want to go into business. And I know there's also the other side. There is an aspect of business. It has its challenges just as a career would have. So we want to just take a few minutes and give our thoughts or our advice to a young person who is saying, I want to go into business. I know our pastor, Ndirangu, is in that field, and he has a wealth of experience and he can share his thoughts. But I will also allow our young people to just give their thoughts on what they think or what they can advise a young person who is saying, I want to go into business. What would you tell such a person, Beatrice?
Okay, before I go into that, can I borrow 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes. I think I need to talk about stress. It's a feeling of emotional or physical tension, and everybody sometimes is stressed up. So we need to identify. You need to know when you're stressed up. Maybe you can have low energies, headaches, upset stomachs, and you also need to know what are the causes of stress: divorce, loss of a job, chronic illnesses, and you also need to know how to manage stress. So you need to keep a positive attitude, accept that there are things and events that you cannot control, be assertive instead of being aggressive, exercise. We were just talking about technical courses. When you're doing such jobs, you're doing some exercises, which is also good. So you need to do a lot of exercise. You need to eat healthy and know what is stressing you up so that you can be able to manage it. Thank you. Let me stop at that. So, pardon, can you just repeat the other topic? This one came out in a burning way.
Yeah, you know, Beatrice is a trained counselor and she wouldn't just let it go like that. Thank you, Beatrice, for that. Our line of discussion right now is in line of business. For young people who are saying, I don't want to go into a career. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a doctor and all these careers that we know of. I would want to do business. And as we said, just to repeat myself, there is no work that has no challenges. What would you advise a young person, just from your knowledge on maybe just business and what you have seen people going through? What would you advise a young person who is saying, I want to go into business?
First of all, you need to believe in yourself. You also need to know what you're good at. Maybe somebody is skilled, talented in marketing skills, so you let them be. Jijue. So once you know what you can do best, just go for it. Toa hii story ya watu watasemaje, business and hii story ati business sometimes inaanguka, ina fail. Everywhere in life you'll have to face challenges and obstacles, but you need to be strong enough to have shock absorbers for you to move on. So you also need to have plan B in life. So if you're doing business, you can see a professional somewhere, maybe ni daktari but anafanya other businesses. So I would just say hashtag let everybody grow. Thank you.
Caleb?
I will advise them in two ways. Those who already have a career, for example, they are trained, they should not fear tapping into the business world. I think there is no skill that will go to waste, or a knowledge that will go to waste. If I think that is the fear that we have. Sometimes when you want to go into business, somebody feels, what will happen to my papers? I trained for 6 years or 7 years. What will happen now if I go into business? For example, for myself, I'm in finance. So if I